Let's talk more then about the latest in the US and, of course, the implications for Donald Trump as well. Our chief foreign editor, Rob Parsons, joins us now. Rob, yet another night of violence we've seen here, but obviously it does seem that it was a lot calmer than it was on Saturday night, at least.
Yeah, the sixth successive night of violence. And as Ketiban was saying, in Minneapolis, where it all started off with the killing of George Floyd, things do seem to have been much calmer. There were a few incidents. You spoke about that truck that at one stage appeared to be about to plow into the demonstrators, but he stopped. So we don't really know what that was all about. Elsewhere in the country, there were hotspots of tension in Chicago, in Los Angeles, New York, Pennsylvania, Denver, but not quite the violence we've seen in previous nights. But it's still not going away, and the tension is clearly still there. But with curfews across 40 cities, it does seem that the forces of law and order are beginning to be able to clamp down on the worst excesses, at least. The problem, I think, though, is the underlying issues here and what the government is going to do to address those. Can it really deal with the problem? We had, senior CNN presenter Wolf Blitzer saying, is this really happening in the United States? And I think he speaks probably for most people across the United States. People are incredulous that this is happening in their country. And it seems in a way to be a sort of summation of what's been going on in the United States for the last 3 years.
People might be incredulous, Rob. I mean, what does that mean, do you think, for the political implications of this? Of course, we've got November's presidential election just beginning to get into gear. How do you think this could play out?
Well, one always has to be careful reading too much into things when you're dealing with Donald Trump. He has seemed repeatedly impervious to these sort of things. It's been effectively water off a duck's back. He's managed to brush off all the criticism. Things that have happened in his presidency would probably have torpedoed any other president in US history. But here he still is, striding through the chaos and the disorder, the apparent almost collapse of the country with the economy in freefall because of the coronavirus. 100,000 people plus have died because of the coronavirus. And now we're having these racial riots as well. You would have thought that would spell pretty much the end for Donald Trump. And maybe it will, but at this stage, it's still a little early. We had an article in Le Monde at the weekend, French newspaper, calling it American carnage, picking up on a phrase that Donald Trump himself used to describe what he inherited from Barack Obama. But it really does sort of feel as though we've reached that watershed moment. But Donald Trump at the moment, trailing Joe Biden by 6 percentage points in the opinion polls, really has to get his act together quickly, I think. And part of the problem for him is that the opportunities for campaigning are now so limited because of the coronavirus. And if, perhaps as a consequence of all these demonstrations in the country, there is a second wave, and then there's another lockdown, that will restrict his opportunities again. Time effectively is beginning to run out for Donald Trump. He has to find some way of connecting with the middle ground of American politics, those people who have yet to be persuaded one way or the other. Donald Trump, unfortunately for him, seems to lack the emotional intelligence to connect with ordinary American people. My feeling is he's beginning to run out of time.
Rob, thanks very much. Rob Parsons, our chief foreign editor there. Well, we're going to keep talking about this